Hello everybody, this is High Lord Tamerlane again with another Obscurity in Miniature. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to have complicated, expensive models coming out of Eastern Europe or somehow related to Japanese mythology. Today we're going to be taking a look at WizKids Deep Cuts line. So, the reason I wanted to do this is because I'm always in the mood for basic, regular animals, and especially I've been on a hardcore Frostgrave and Paleo Diet kick. So I thought, you know what, why don't we take a look at what Deep Cuts is offering, because some of the new stuff, you can't get more basic than wild boars and animals like that. So I have a little background knowledge in case you're not familiar with it. WizKids, the guys that do hero clicks and all that stuff, they've been slowly but surely kind of encroaching into Reaper's Bones territory with this new Deep Cuts line. Now, Deep Cuts itself is 3 at the moment subset lines. First we have the basic Deep Cuts WizKids line, and these are just like the generic stuff, so obviously we've got a stag here. They have a green border, by the way. Next up we have the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. These are the Dungeons and Dragons ones, as obviously shown with the D&D symbol there, and they've got the red label on them. So these are some tieflings. And in case you're not familiar, they also have a quick suggested CG color composite of the figures themselves to give you an idea of how you could possibly paint them. Now, obviously, you're not limited to that, but, you know, it is what it is. Last up, we also have the Deep Cuts Pathfinder Battles line, and these have a black border. So these are some Pathfinder ghouls, because I can't stand my Ghoul King for Sigmar as he's leaping off the rock, and he's nothing really special looking. So I thought, you know, I want a new one on foot. We'll see how this guy goes. And surprisingly, his spear is not as curvy as it possibly could be. These two, they're just added bonuses. They're really not as exciting, and they're really not the focus of this video. So you know what I'm going to do? Screw it. Let's just pop them open and get this over and done with. Ooh, look at my manly strength there. So, all of the Deep Cuts figures obviously are pre-primed, and take of that what you will. Not bad figures. I've heard some people just love the detail and the quality. I mean, they're nice, I guess. Sometimes I've had issues with where it seems like seams and details kind of just blur into each other, and I can't really tell what I'm looking at anymore. That tends to be more of a problem with the smaller figures. They also have some lovely garbage hanging off of them there, but that's been a problem I've had with the bone stuff as well. So, get her more zoomed in there. Another thing I wanted to mention is all of the Deep Cut figures include these little bases. And when I say little, I mean they're really little. They're thin. I wonder how many of these you need to stack up to equal a GW base. Probably 3. I don't have 3. I only have 2 right here. So here's my Tiefling Rogues. How do they compare, out of curiosity, to a GW figure? Kind of short, actually. I mean, they are Tieflings, and I guess they're not the most normal of humanoids, being that they're supposed to be, you know, children of demonic influence or whatever the case may be. But I guess if you had them on a larger base, let's just see, I'm going to privateer one. Okay. That obviously does make a difference. So, something to consider. There's also the price to consider if you're looking for just generic stuff. Now, obviously, these are made with the intention of using, I'm going to guess, primarily for RPGs, but what I want to be doing with them is obviously playing them in skirmish games and tabletop war games and fun things like that. Let's pop open. I cut my fingernails. The ghouls. And we'll add them to the fray. There's our Ghoul King and his ghoul hanger-on. Let's take a quick look at them. I mean, they look cool. They're not going to fit in with my Games Workshop ones, that's for sure. I don't know if they even call ghouls anymore. The Flesh Eater Quartz stuff. I think he's got some crap behind his ears that's going to need cleaning. And our more kingly-like figure. I don't know, I think he can probably fit in with Flesh eater quartz stuff. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about these figures is the bendy weapons, and that's been a big problem for just about all of these easy to paint plastic figures. And I think it's just something that comes with the territory. So, I mean, yeah, he's not the smallest. But enough about them. That's not why we're here. What I really wanted to focus on were the animals, because you know what? There are animals out there in tabletop scales, but they tend to run quite pricey. So our stag here, not the most exciting of figures, and some sloppy painting on of the primer that's going to need some cleaning. Whether I actually clean it or not is another story. And he comes with his ridiculous, is it a 50 size? 50 millimeter base, yeah. You'd think I would know these, but I don't. Can I put it on the base? There we go. So that's a stag. And I looked through my collection, and outside of a horrible conversion job on a wood elf glade rider, I think they were called, I don't really have any horned, antlered forest dwellers. So here's the piggies, the wild boars. I don't know why I'm putting them on these bases, because I can tell you right now they won't get used. They're just too damn tiny. Everything else, I think I have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of bases from back in Reaper stuff, so that shouldn't be an issue. So piggies are always nice to have. You can get a lot of use out of a piggy. Plenty of games, and I am popping open the wolves now. Now, my first reaction upon seeing both wolves and boars was, dang, these things are tiny. I mean, they look like you're going to get the job done, though, right? They don't need to be super big. Made me think of javelinas, but wolves aren't anything special, but they're nicely scaled, I guess. Let's see, where are my tiefling ladies? So I guess that's a bit more in real scale, true scale, whatever scale you want to call it. Because most wolves don't go past your shoulders, as I checked. And I am tearing into the bear now. And another 50 millimeter base, which you would think would have a massive, massive bear on him, but I mean, I guess, well, he is bigger than the humanoid. I wouldn't be putting it on a 50 millimeter base, though, that's for sure. So I think a 40 millimeter base would be more ideal. That's probably what I'll end up putting it on, because most of the games we play don't seem to really have base size be a major factor, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. So, after tearing all these packages apart, how do they stack up to some of the other stuff on the marketplace? I don't have a whole lot of bears. I have this sad, weird blondie bear that I have from Reaper's Bones lines, and you can make snide comments about the paint job, but hey, you know what, screw you, it's painted. A little bit bigger. I wouldn't say a little bit, I'd say a lot. So, that's at least, I know that North Star makes a running bear that's running out on his paws, so we might have to get one of those to compare. But this guy at least should do the job, because most games, how many bears are you going to have running around anyway? I think it would make him a cool werebear form if you're playing any kind of game that needs shape shifters of any sort. So, for example, here's a Frostgrave figure in size comparison. I was thinking, though, Shadow's Brimstone, because you do have the option of having the Darkstone Shaman, or Shaman. I know there's the player character class that can change shape into a bear. That might be a nice alternative, because I'll tell you, I couldn't stand the resin one, and it didn't want to go together, and it looked really anemic, especially at least compared to this guy. So, I do like this bear. I'll probably try to paint him up like a brown or black bear. Let's take a look at the wolves. There's a wolf. So, the only other wolves I have, and the ones that my go-to wolves, have all been Reaper Bones wolves of some sort or another. There's a wolf. Here's a wolf. Everywhere a wolf. That's not a wolf. That's a Barghest, but, you know, whatever. Two-headed wolf. So, this guy's a little on the wimpy, dinky side compared to everybody else, but they're also 2 for $5, whereas most of these other ones were more, I'd say, and not a whole ridiculous lot more. So the only other Deep Cuts wolf that I have is their dire wolf, which at least is painted again, but, you know, he does have bony spikes growing off his back. So they almost look like they could be pups. But on the other hand, you know what? Get enough of them, and it would make a nice little wolf pack. I mean, I've got a bit of a wolf pack going on here already. Also, here is a Deep Cuts Oxen. This is one of their earlier ones, and I think he scales pretty well with just about any figure. But again, these wolves I think would make nice familiars, companions. So if you're doing something like Rangers of Shadows Deep or Frostgrave or, you know, any of the skirmish games out there, I think these would come in really handy. And again, 2 for $4 or $5, not too bad. And I think it's still cheaper than the Reaper ones because I think these are like $2.99, $3.99 or more. So I don't know where you'd find it for $2.99. If you find it for $2.99, let me know because I wouldn't mind some more. I mean, this is a cool looking wolf, but he's big. I think it's the Winter Wolf that was called. So, Deep Cuts. Overall, decent quality figures. Nice variety, and they keep churning them out. That's one thing I really like. So they kind of get all the weirdly specific RPG stuff in the main 2, you know, Pathfinder battles and D&D Nolzur's stuff, but it's the actual Deep Cuts line that has the cooler, interesting, basic necessities that you would need in gaming, like an ox, because, you know, why would you not need an ox? I want to say there's a pack mule in the new set, but I don't feel like painting all the junk hanging off a pack mule. So we've got our little animals on parade here. And if you haven't checked out any of the Deep Cut stuff, I mean, like I said, they're pretty nice models. You may never, you never know when you're going to need a random stag to hang out on the table. I know I've needed one for Paleo Diet, and I'm tired of using big crazy stuff like gnarl horns from Circle Orbos for hordes. So nice to have something normal for a change. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamerlane's Obscurities and Miniatures, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.